Well, and welcome back everyone here to Train, the deciding map in the round of 4 between PiTER and MortalKombat. And as a result of this map coming up as the third, the random between two others, we have the 9th round, which is going to be of vital importance here on Train. Still pretty CT-sided, not quite like what it was back in the days of 1.6 or even Source. And it looks like it will be MortalKombat taking this one with ease, unless Dreamer is about to do the impossible. He does get 2, but there it is. And of course, it will elect for the CT side.
Yep, I think my game's bugged though, because it says MortalKombat's on the CT side, and it's quite clearly PiTER that's over there. Is that just me?
I don't think it's switched yet because they haven't all readied up.
Okay, I thought my CS was going crazy. I had some issues with it earlier today as well. But yeah, as you say, I completely agree. This is a pretty important knife round. CT definitely the favorable of the sides, but again, we have seen teams like Virtus.pro, for example, on Train in the past have pulled off some pretty nice T-strats for themselves. On B, there's a lot of smokes that you can throw across there and just make this huge smoke screen for Connector and CT spawn and get the bomb down. So I'm just curious, really, if it comes down to the fact of if these teams have had enough time to go through Train, like in depth, because that could be a huge factor coming forward for this third map.
Yeah, it actually looks like Spiker right now is they're like shooting at stuff like stand here, aim there. It looks like some people that do know smokes are trying to get those communicated to their teammates so that they can use them. And I'm thinking that might be a pop flash that they were trying to line up. I don't even know if you guys are watching what I'm watching, but Spiker was showing some places to throw smokes or flashes. And I'm guessing it's a pop flash through the new sort of window and upward towards the white halls from the CT's perspective, so that then they can push and play aggro. And I wonder if they're going to just actually use that like straight up on the first round. I mean, pushing through white halls could be quickly rewarded. If no one's there, you're going to absolutely know that they're going outside. And can you hear me fine, by the way?
Yeah, you completely.
All right, I keep like auto disconnecting from the server.
Oh, I heard you totally fine, no issues whatsoever.
All right, so that's good. Not my internet, just my connection to the server, perhaps.
And also, just to answer what you're saying, yeah, I think everyone could see what you're looking at, because I could as well, and I have the auto camera director thing on, so I think it is a pop flash, as you say, to try and stop that force in. But here we go, we are live into the first pistol round bubble, going to be pushing down, tagged up Waterfall to 22, but gets dinked there. Still though, MK are getting the first frags. It has been laboured, however, but here we go. It's starting to quickly slide in their favour. Spike up with the 5-7, and he's just going to be running around that corner and tapping away to his heart's content. But that bomb's been planted, and MK with brilliant positions. He just pretty much walked out into a firing squad. Everyone looking down there towards him, and that's going to be the quick 1-0.
Like a Charlie's Angels pose there from the terrorist. All three of them just posted up and looking for him to come out of ladder. He was that player that was inside, did push through. Maybe could have went a little faster. He threw that smoke that most people normally do, and you can kind of sit behind it and peek up into the white halls. But wasn't too quick to push through it himself. So CT's, I mean, that's rough, right? I mean, a map that is CT-sided, it's very hard for the terrorists to find a foothold if they don't get the pistols. But here, of course, MortalKombat was able to get the pistols, and I must have misspoke. It was PiTER, obviously, that took the knife round, and are now onto that CT side. But gosh, look at this. Is it back? I know these are just pistols, but we've seen how strong the 5-7 and armor combinations have been in the series. But MortalKombat just walked all over it.
JMQA, though, sneaky from the back, has got himself 2 frags. That bomb's just about to be planted, but considering that Spiley is only on 14 and he's about to come round the back, JMQA Spidey senses are tingling. He feels this in the water, and if you can get this kill, it's down to a 2-on-2. They don't have a defuse kit, which could be a problem. That is a nice kill to pick up, and it is also straining the economy that much more for MK, even if they do win this round. And you can see that Dirksee's not too interested in going for this. They are going to save up the weapons. MK will pick up their second, but that's a scout with Kevlar and an AK with Kevlar going through to the third round to greet MK. So not a terrible round, all things considered, from PiTER.
Yeah, not at all. And I don't know, JMQA, like, teammates are like, yo, watch your back, or maybe he hears that guy making noise coming down the steps, but wow, he just, like, straight up knew he had his game sense about him right there that he was being flanked. So found himself another kill. And, I mean, somewhat of a hope here. They tossed the scout over to another player, so you still got the CZ armor on Dursky and JMQA, of course, with the AK armor and a kit. Things could get a bit dicey for Mortal Kombat. Or, I mean, at least costly. If they lose 3 people, it'll make their D-side progress a little bit harder moving on to that first rifle round.
Yeah, this is a pretty big round, actually, as well for MK, because if they lose this one, they're in such a good position. We've already talked about T's. You have to make the most of the few opportunities that you are given. And here we go. They have jumped on top of the first 2 frags. There's Dirksy, though, back for one of his own. And there's the scout that was dropped across the waterfall. And they've got another kill. It's down to a 2-on-2. And PiTER are showing that on CT side, I mean, they are so difficult to force out of rounds. Even when they're 2-3 players behind, they still have so much in their back pocket. It's a 1v1. Waterfall is half HP, Bubbles on full, but he is rotating, throws the smoke, decides to go to A, and Waterfall has bit for this. It's such a nice tactic there. Waterfall has no idea what's happening. Bubble will get the plant down, but this is still doable from Waterfall. He's going to find out any second now. It's on A, and he will be able to rotate.
1v1s or 1vx's, though, on train are so tough. There's so many places to be cleared out, especially now with CT Heaven being the way it is. Like, you can sit up there and you really can't clear it out. So you're going to have to take a risk somewhere. Probably not expecting CT Heaven based on where the plant is. It would be kind of silly to play up there with the plant being where it is behind the train. And he'll just throw a flash hoping that someone's going to peek him. And he gets 3 seconds into it, but Bubble will peek out. Waterfall knows, like, there's not enough time in the world to clear every spot outside. So he tries to just stick the bomb and doesn't quite work out for him. But still a really good round for PiTER. Made Mortal Kombat pay a little bit for it. And now we'll get into round 4 with a proper rifle round coming out from the CTs.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid round because, you know, PiTER went for a couple of upgraded pistols with Kevlar, knowing that they could afford M4s next round anyway. So, yeah, as you say, they did do quite a bit of damage to Mortal Kombat. Obviously, they'd rather have had the round as well on top of that, but this does put them in a decent enough position, and if they win one of these next couple rounds, it's probably going to force MK onto Ecos or Force Spies. Here is the flash that was being shown from Spiker. And that's the idea. It is a pop into that push from upper, but Victor with 12 HP gets the frag. So you can see where the idea and the execution was coming from PiTER, but now that they've gone walkies through connector and lost the second player, this is starting to get a bit precarious for the Russians. JMQA is pushing through. I casted Gamers 2 on this map before, and Mihu was constantly pushing through Ali and got so much success from that position. So I'm curious if maybe PiTER are going to go for something similar. But JMQA, the player that's gone for that, just got fragged, and that leaves PiTER in the 5v2 up against them. And it's soon becoming one player. Faithcraft's been spotted. He's down to 14. No hope of clutching this round. He does get a frag on the exit, but that's pretty much all I'm expecting to see from him this. There we go. He's been taken out. 4-0 now for MK.
Yeah, pushing Ivy or Alley is a really good way to get a ton of information at the CT, because if no one is there, very rarely are you going to work outside without putting at least one person to Ivy, so it can kind of tell you what the terrorists are up to. Although I guess, you know, with the way middle and the ability to throw smokes from the white halls now, it wouldn't be uncommon to see like 3 people going ladder and 2 people up middle. But more often than not, I think you'd at least want to put one Ivy. So it can definitely help out. As it's like me and the server do not get along. But okay, now I'm back. It's a couple of kills, Bubble and Victor finding PiTER hiding out, trying to get 1 Deegs. Mortal Kombat, you know, this is exactly how they started off Inferno, right? You start on the T side, the map that it just means so much to get the pistols. And then they get the first couple rifles as well. So 5 in a row. They gave up the 6th round. So that reset the money, and then they got 6 more in a row. I think that was how... It was like 9-1, wasn't it? Yeah. Or even worse than that. It was like 11-1 on Inferno.
It was brutal to watch at some points.
I did not know you could break those.
What, the lights?
Yeah. That was cool.
The vandalism is real. There has been a pause called because the 5th player from PiTER had some issues and obviously needs to reconnect So that's going to leave us in the 5-0. And yeah, I mean, this is very reminiscent from Inferno, and we obviously know how that went 16-9 in the end to MK. PiTER did much better on their T side of Inferno, which was interesting enough. But again, T side of Train is a whole different game altogether almost. It's very difficult to really talk about from our perspective, because again, we haven't seen PiTER on Train before. I'm not sure what to expect from them, but just judging off the previous maps that we've casted this evening, I think they should be okay on Train, but it's going to be a struggle. On the T side, sorry, of Train.
Something on the CT side where it's going to be really, really difficult. Not quite able to hold. Then again, I mean, this is going to be their second chance on a rifle round. MortalKombat have pretty much already hit the quota for rounds that you would want to look for on the T side. Getting 5 is going to be quite nice. And not being unpaused quite yet. I think one of MortalKombat's members ran to the bathroom, so it'll just keep us wondering. We will see the op come out with waterfalls. Maybe he can try to turn things around, but just getting an opening pick.
There's a lot of different avenues that they could try and exploit here. We haven't seen PiTER aggressively pushing T-Connector too often. We haven't seen them going towards Pop Dog either. We have seen that kind of pop flash into upper on B side. Didn't really pay off. Victor was there and got the frag, so it's the kind of gimmicky push that you can't do too often, because then the terrorists are just going to get free kills over and over again. So PiTER have made a couple of changes to their CT side, and this pause is going to give them a chance to discuss things a tiny bit as well, like what's going wrong, what can we fill in. They've got a great buy up this round. They got full grenades, they got full weapons as well with a couple defuse kits. So if ever there was a time to start to mount this comeback, it really is right now. Because if MK start picking up another couple rounds, I mean, this could already be sliding away from PiTER altogether.
Indeed, it could. Might see something similar to, again, that Inferno match where PiTER then would start off quite well on their T side. But already it does look a bit scary. Hopefully we'll see a turnaround here from PiTER so that this, this third map, this decisive map, will be a bit more of a showing from both teams. And it looks like we're finally ready to go, so we can stop wondering and just start watching what PiTER is going to do here on this round. And MortalKombat just with all their AKs, which they are so terrifying with. And who is actually, okay, yeah, no surprise, Victor out in front, 7-3 right now.
Another issue as well for PiTER is we talked about this on Inferno. They were so dead set against adapting their CT side, like they were getting battered and yet did nothing to change it up. So I'm hoping that changes here, because clearly something does need to be resolved. But again, it's identical setup. They're not pushing, they're not trying anything too crazy, too out of there. And in doing so, look at all the information that MK are getting. They've already pushed them on to B. The bomb has been dropped elsewhere. And they're really just trying to feel out PiTER. There has been quite a bit of utility expended, though, from MK for very little in return. So this could prove to be a bit of an issue going forward in the round. Still a minute to play with.
They did, I would assume, they boosted waterfalls up here in Z. You can get there on your own, but you expose yourself from middle, so that was a boost. It's kind of a unique spot, trying to catch people off guard. But playing very passive outside. I prefer a bit more aggression on the outside for PiTER, just because the angles are pretty awkward. But JMQA winning his duel over there, Ivy and the 1v1 is going to help out immensely. Unfortunately, inside though, MortalKombat just steps in and hit all their shots. Dursky was able to grab one of them, so 3-on-3. Oh, big grenade. Dursky going to find another now. Bomb will go down in the back of the train, only to be immediately cleaned up again by Dursky. 3K on the round for him, and now Bubble taken down from waterfalls, and there it is finally. PiTER playing two people inside does pay off.
Interesting enough, though, they didn't really change anything, within their strats. It was just a case of Dursky pulled off 3 sick frags, like great shots from him. Just pretty much the aim was on point rather than the strats. So MK may take something away from that round, even though they lost, and they lost fairly convincingly in the end. There's nothing there that's going to completely put the fear into them. There's nothing there that's going to make them think, God, we can't attack B anymore. It was just a case of Dursky was on the point with his aim. Now, on another day, he may miss a couple of those shots, and we're looking at 6-0. I don't think MK are going to be too bothered by that. They got quite a lot of info in the process. Again, here's the boost. It is a gimmicky boost, though. You can't do this too often. Oh, look at this. It looks to be an A push. All 5 players pushing A from separate directions.
Yeah, also the fact last round that NKL lost his duel. Like, if he then got the kill at Ivy, that would have manipulated PiTER's defenses a bit more. But since he fell first, it made it more difficult. Now trying to take outside 3-on-3. Dreamer hitting some shots. 2K for him. NKL this time will beat out JMQA. Brings him down in Old Hell, or that blue door side. Really do need a new name for it. Face crack though, and a 1-on-2, trying to keep their hopes alive, trying to get 2 rounds in a row. Does catch Dreamer in the back, so it puts him into a 1-on-1. Still a minute though on the clock. Oh, gonna be spotted. Face crack, he takes the damage, and Victor just re-peeks him. And we'll bring the headshot. Costly round, but it is 6-1 now.
Now, Crack, who is a standout player, I fully agree with what you said on Inferno, that he's typically one of those guys that does step up. He's 2-7. He's not having a fantastic CT side right now. He'll be pretty peed off, I'd imagine, with that repeat from Victor, because you're not expecting that. You're thinking, okay, Victor's now going to try and, you know, mind game me, come around the back, I've got to be careful from my right hand side, and suddenly, nope, he's repeating, I'm dead. That's a very frustrating way to die, and that could be playing on the back of his mind, especially if he's already on tilt from his performance thus far. Again, though, that last round just came down to aim. There was nothing too fantastic from CT or T strats. It was just pure aim duels across the board. Waterfall has been taken down, and considering that they've got a 5-7 and FAMAS on the side of CTs, this could be lambs to the slaughter once more. Dreamer has spotted FaceCrack, but he gets flashed out, and Dursky is there to pick up the pieces. FaceCrack with the AWP now chimes in. A good hold for the CTs, but that bomb's been planted nonetheless. Bubble gets shut down in the back, it's now 1v2. And NKL's been picked off, so what a strange round that turned out to be, but PiTER just about, by the skin of their teeth, hold on, and we'll get that defuse.
Yeah, I think MK, I mean, having won that round, or expecting the CTs to be maybe saving more than they were. Because that was still, I mean, they had an op, still. A couple rifles and 5.7 in armor, so they were able to get quite a bit of money. I mean, I guess, like, you came off of losing 5 rounds, so you had the max bonus going into round 6, so your money was okay. You wanted keeping 3 people alive, so they were still in a position to buy, and I think just maybe it catches MK completely off guard. And now winning that one as well, but this time only 2 people alive, so money's going to be very tight. MortalKombat still on a rifle round, so if they can win this, they can completely reset PiTER, and then that would be a great position for MK to be in to close out this half, and, you know, maybe win the half on the T side, which is just crazy in its own right.
That is a dream for them, for absolute sure. You can see the PiTER again. I mean, nothing too fantastic. Very static CT side. Here comes the smokes, here comes the flashes. They must know at this point it's going to be a B. This is what I'm talking about before. You can throw those smokes through the upper windows of the office, and then suddenly the smoke screen is there. It doesn't quite pay off for them, and they haven't screened a great deal off other than just the site. And that's the issue, that you can see PiTER just jumping on top of the trains. This is always going to favor them from this scenario. It's a 3-on-1. The Victor, the bomb is planted for him, but the problem is as soon as he peeks out of upper, he'll get taken out. There we go. Waterfall with the AWP does just that. So MK telegraphed that push somewhat. Their smokes weren't on point, and they ended up paying the ultimate price, and they will not be resetting PiTER's economy just yet.
I mean, I feel those smokes are enough. I mean, they blocked off the lower train, they blocked off between the lower train and the bomb site, and they blocked off the upper sight line, so that way you only have to worry about someone being on top of that lower train, on top of the catwalk, far back, so that they can still see you running in from lower. I mean, they just lost the battles that ensued after the smokes went down. Had they hit their shots, it would have been completely different. So good on PiTER to hold it. Also, it probably shows that PiTER are always playing at least 2 inside. So maybe that leaves outside a little bit more vulnerable to a split, and that looks to be what MortalKombat is looking for right now. They've got 2 to come out ladder, 2 came out middle, and 1 still flanking around Ivy, and that Ivy player wasn't even really required.
I think
a 5-on-2.
Another thing that PiTER typically struggled with on the other maps that we were casting, especially Inferno, and I'm just talking over this because Spike isn't on before, it's unlikely he's going to get anything from this. It should be 7-3. But especially Inferno, they got baited out so many times off these like fake pushes. And I'm curious if MK are going to start to put more of them into effect, because we've seen it a couple times and they have typically worked for them on train. So I think they could definitely get another 2, 3, 4 rounds here on this half if they just start faking a tiny bit more. But you see there, the execute was pretty much perfect. It was very, very close to being flawless from MK, and I mean, PiTER couldn't do anything to resist. But when you look at the frags, there's not a great deal separating the two teams. Everyone, by and large, on around the same, other than Spiker, who's 2 and 8.
Yeah, there's been a lot of deaths in most of the rounds, so... I mean, every round is... Some of them have been pretty close. I guess I can't say every round. Like, round 7, only one per... That came down to a 1v1. Round 2, you had quite a bit of people saved, but it was costly for the terrorists. See that last round. Actually, haven't been that many close rounds trying to scan through these. Perhaps not. But round 11, 7-3. I mean, you went outside... You went inside somewhat quickly the round previously, then you went outside very quickly. It worked out for MortalKombat, and now they're going to slow things down. They're going to try to play that sort of pick and roll style. You got 2 out towards those boiler hallways. 2 just kind of waiting, watching for an alley push, hoping that JMQA gets impatient, gets aggressive, and the bomb just kind of in that ladder room lurking around. Or above the ladder room, rather, watching the flank.
Here with 50 seconds, it looks like it's going to be a fake.
Oh, that's
this is what I was
unfortunate.
talking about, and the fact that Victor has got the first frag is going to draw out so many players. What a beautiful spray down onto Spiker, and you can see now 2 players going through CT connector back to the B site. They have got the frags though, so even though Victor started off this round lightning fast, it somewhat became back to even, but now it's slipping out of control for PiTER. There's face crack dropping. Fantastic. I agree though, very unfortunate. That first frag that Victor got could have gone either way.
It's actually pretty funny, because Victor goes inside for the fake, gets his 2 kills, and then there's still one person outside for PiTER, who actually gets a couple of kills from like the main offensive there. So, like, both people that shouldn't have been getting kills on both teams find the kills, and it makes things a little more difficult, but able to find the 8th round, and now the 2nd in a row. That's going to break up PiTER completely, and MortalKombat now in a position where they could maybe get double digits on the T side of Train. And you would think that would be enough to close it out, but I mean, to be fair, if you don't really know the map that well, Train is going to kind of be T-sided, because the CT angles are really awkward.
Yeah, it's all about the teamwork and cohesion as well at the end of the day, and if you don't have that on CTs and you have 5 terrorists just forcing through on you, chances are that you're going to get out-fragged and you're going to get just outplayed altogether. So that's kind of what we're seeing to an extent here on the CT side from PiTER. They're just getting outplayed a lot of the time when it comes to these Angels and the Crossfires. But without sounding like a broken record, MK are known for not having a fantastic CT side themselves. So maybe PiTER's T side, which you can probably get away with winging it a tiny bit more on T side if you don't know much about the map, because you can just force through as 5, you know, you can get basic flashes and basic smokes out there, and then look to just explode on site. So who knows, maybe PiTER's T side is going to be way stronger than their CT.
Looks like MK though, going for a set play here. Looks like 3 smokes. About to go over, at least 2. Oh yeah, 3rd actually. Dreamer throws 1 from those halls. So it's a set play onto the outside bomb site. Waterfalls, though, pushing up aggressive, has got himself to a fantastic spot. Dreamer going to make that spot a little more difficult to hold, because he just killed Facecrack and Ladder Room. So Waterfalls, oh, he's still able to get 1. And this is now looking very, very good, yeah. Going to work out for PiTER. Somewhat didn't even get to, like, pull the trigger on that execute. They got shut down.
That's the issue, isn't it? When you go for set plays, you have to make sure that you got enough people alive to actually make the most of it. It just didn't pay off. But MK, because of all the money they have saved in the bank, straight back to AK-47. So even though they just lost the previous round, their buy-up is looking stronger with that FAMAS on Spiker. And this could be a big play towards B. They got the bomb in hand. They're going to drop this and look for some entries. And Dirksy must have heard all that noise coming towards him as he falls back. And this is almost an identical setup to what we saw a couple rounds previously, when Victor ended up going for those entries. Spiley sort of went back towards A with the bomb, and then Victor went for the entries, and well, the rest is history. They won the round. But look at this from CTs. They're playing this a lot more aggressively. I like this. They're getting lots of information for this aggression, and it therefore allows them to keep their players stacked on B without having to wonder about A.
Yeah, I think the slightly more aggressive posture on that outside bomb side is the way to go on CT side. Looks like PiTER finally getting into that style of play. player coming out lower, running through the Molotov. That's Victor trying to hit the entry, but can't this time. Face Crack now playing from that E-box. He's got backup from the mid room in Waterfalls, and it looks like they did a decent enough job. They wither them down, they get the trades, and it does go evenly into a 2-on-2, so it's given Spiker and Dursky a chance on the round. Bomb, though, to be planted. NKL in a good spot, but can't hold that forever, because he doesn't know where the second player is. I don't even know if they realize where either players are, but I'm sure they're expecting one to be coming through Z. And it looks like the footsteps of Spiker have been heard. Maybe not. Dreamer is going to be brought down from behind. Now it's just NKL in a 1-on-2 trying to hold on to this post plant.
With trainers, it's so difficult to isolate him off, and they get the frag. And it will be a comfortable defuse at the end there from PiTER and 5-9. They did go for a very similar strat. Again, you saw Victor pushing through onto site by himself after the smokes, and I think there's a Molotov also thrown in. But he was running through a Molotov, got picked off, and from there on in, you're thinking, okay, PiTER, this is yours. And then they sort of derped from E-box a tiny bit, and they missed a lot of sprays and lost a couple of players, and it brought us back to a 2-on-2. So, again, I mean, PiTER, on another day, I feel, if they were performing 100%, these maps may even be going in their favor pretty convincingly, because a lot of these rounds have just came down to them not getting the sprays, not getting the taps when they needed them.
They've also seemed to have rallied up at the end of the first half, at least on Inferno and here on Train, finally getting a couple rounds in a row. Well, they get the last 3. Looks like they did over on Inferno. That will kind of salvage the half, although still 9 rounds on the C side. It's going to hurt. And 1 kill into ladder room from Face Crack, but he will be taken down from the other end as they push out towards middle. Waterfalls playing at Blue Door. Will be able to bring down Bubble. 4-on-2 right now. Make it 3-on-2 as Spy Leader kind of pushes that smoke, catches Dursky off guard. Spiker, though, coming down from the flank. And I think Spy Leader has been spotted towards that old bomb train. Definitely has now. Lit up down to 9 HP. Waterfall's just going to get on the bomb, and that'll be that. PiTER getting 3 rounds in a row towards the end of the first half, making it 6-9, keeping MK away from the very dangerous double digits on their T side of Train. But I think it will still be difficult for PiTER on this T side.
It was so important for them to get the last few rounds, though, because, I mean, at one point, it was what? Looking like it could even go like 12-3, 11-4 again, which on Train is just, I mean, that's way too much. So 6 does give them a glimmer of hope. If they can win the pistol, who knows? I do agree, though. MK certainly in the better position here. And let's see how it starts to evolve in the second half. And, you know, a lot of people probably just joining us here. This is the 3rd map in this best of 3. First map was Inferno. MK won that pretty comfortably, 16-9. Second was Cash. PiTER won that 16-11. And here we are on Train. A map that, I mean, honestly, Helium, I haven't seen either of these teams on before. So, again, there was a lot of the unknown factor coming in from me personally watching this. And I probably expect it's the same for both of these teams as well. They probably don't know what to expect from their opposition.
Yeah, I mean, what they expected was neither team to pick this map, so no one banned it. But unfortunately for them, it came up being randomed out. Actually, what were the bans? I'm going to remind myself here. We had Cobble banned and Dust 2. So it was between Mirage, Overpass, and Train for the 3rd map. And, well, Train won out, and here we are. And looks like finally ready to go into the second half. And it's going to be very vital for PiTER to start off strong here on the T side. If they get the pistol and survive the anti-ecos, I mean, at least they'll be able to tie it up. But, I don't know. From what we've seen, it's like MortalKombat might have a shaky CT side, but, well, I mean, looking at Train, what should happen is even if that ties it up, if PiTER ties it up, it should still be difficult for them to best MortalKombat on this map. But who really knows? We'll have to see what's going to go down, and into round 16 we go.
It was interesting to see how different teams approach the T side. We saw MK on Cash, for example, just running with pure Glocks and armor, no smokes, no flashes. Of course, Train is a whole different kettle of fish. So there is going to be smokes and flashes, which have already by and large been used here from PiTER on towards the A site. They're pushing through from Ali, but there's Bubble with 2 kills. In fact, it was Spider that chimed in and got the last pick, but there's his second, and the bomb drops next to his feet as well. A great start from MK, and it just got a whole lot better. It's all on Spike Gap, and he just gets wrecked as well. MK win the round without losing a single player. That is pretty huge for them.
Were they trying to go Ivy backhauls to enter with 3 people? It almost looked like they were on PiTER.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Strange.
that's That's like kind of a bit easier now because remember before on train you had the 3 alley, like you had to cross 3 times. So it was more difficult for, you know, if anyone was playing out towards the site. Well, I guess that was less common given the bomb train was further back and in that third kind of crossing. Also, you could just plant on the back of the train there too.
I mean, to be fair, it could have worked if Bubble doesn't land a sick, like what was that, a 2 or 3 man
Yeah, there
with
were
the
2
USP.
people in the back halls actually just waiting for that.
Yeah. So if you know, if the situation was slightly different, if Bubble doesn't land the shots, they don't have 2 players that they're going a whole different way. But here we go, Victor with the FAMAS gets a triple. They pretty much all walk into his crosshair though.
Wow, waterfalls. He could
Wow.
knife him almost.
He really
Unfortunately, they got 2 other people spotting up.
could. Yeah, and he doesn't know where
Waterfalls
these
should
players are as well, of
Should
course.
be able to get 1. Oh, might be able to get 2. They've not seen him yet. Bubble didn't see him. And unfortunately, that player was not quite sitting completely still, but you would have expected him to at least have got that 1 frag.
Awkward.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, in fairness, all he was really going to get out of that is 1 kill. So it's not the end of the world, but it's going to be a bit of sad times coming towards Waterfall. MortalKombat, though, have repelled the Tech 9 push in.
With 5 FAMAS, by the way.
Yeah, 5 FAMAS. They had loads of grenades as well. It's always an interesting pick because it's CTs. What do you reckon? Should you be running with a couple of SMGs to try and build up the economy, or are you favouring the 5 assault rifle force?
I think on train you can get away with 5 assault rifles. Like,
yeah,
as long as you play far back, there's absolutely no way that the terrorists can get close to you without you missing an entire, you know, magazine of bullets. But all right, here we go. Pushing in with those Glocks. Nades coming onto the site, trying to dissuade them from planting, but the bomb will still go down here now that the FAMASs are going to have to get close. But again, it was just the Glock train in here. Nothing to worry about getting close. It's going to take at least 5 shots to the head to kill anybody. We've all been on the Glock. We know how it feels.
oh, there's very few sadder feelings when you shoot someone about 15 times. It's like, oh, didn't even take 15 off.
76 and 8. Almost had him. Almost had him.
Good times, especially against armor, man. That is the worst feeling. But that being said, it was pretty much a sacrifice round, and they did get a bomb plant, so it's decent enough to get them AKs, full grenades as well. So this is the first test for MK on their CT side. And when you look at the weaponry, they're surely slightly behind. I mean, FAMAS against AK, AK should win every day of the week. So this could be the opening that PiTER desperately need.
Oh, but the grenades. Wow. The AKs can't do anything against the grenades. And NKL's actually going to catch a player dropping. It's a difficult position. You know, we can't really shoot when you're falling down or on the ladder with that AK. Incendiary up even into the white halls. NKL wanting to get out of there, doesn't want to get quickly flanked, so gets to a new spot. And 5 on 3 right now. NKL's also picked up an AK, so that'll help them out quite a bit. Dursky is pushing through, passing that blue door now. And peeking off the end of the green train, completely catching him unaware. They had no idea. The call, though, must have come out. Dreamberg going to peek and actually catch Dursky on a kind of a weapon switch. Maybe a bit of a mistake from Dursky, but 4-on-1 now, JMQA in a tough spot. And the whole team overall now in a very tough spot, because this will be the first rifle round going the way of the CTs, and it'll be PiTER right back onto an eco. Probably pistols and armor, because they'll be getting their max round bonus. After the next round. JMQA is still fighting for it, though. And Spidey senses tingling, hoping Spy Leader comes down the ladder, but he's not going to. So this is getting rough for PiTER. It looks like MortalKombat are in a pretty good position to maybe just close this out.
Yeah, and it's like a double-edged sword as well, in the sense that not only did MK pick up the round with 3 players remaining, but they just go ahead and pick up those assault rifles as well. So it's going to be FAMAS's turned into 5 much stronger AKs with 2 M4s. Pause in. I assume this is technical because it's MK that called it, and they're on a bit of a tear right now, so they're not going to want to stop their own momentum. If that's from PiTER, I'm assuming it's probably tactical, but they are able to force back up again with Galil's and the Tech 9. This is far from ideal, and the fact they just got smashed with AKs, I mean, this it doesn't inspire confidence.
Well, as long as they can plant the bomb, they'll at least be able to get a full rifle round going into round 21. If
True.
not, they'll have basically the same exact round with like one more grenade on each person if they lose this without planting the bomb because they've got the max bonus. But obviously, when the CTs are pushing 13 rounds, like losing really isn't an option. Like you need to start winning the rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4 smokes, 2 Molotovs from PiTER, so maybe they can work around with that. As it looks like it's MK that are having a bit of a team speak problem. So that's what the pause is. It is indeed technical here from Mortal Kombat. And good thing it's just their team speak and not, you know, us, the server, or the players specifically.
Well, yeah. Hopefully that's fixed nice and quickly.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. But I think that G-Play Mortal Kombat do have another game scheduled after this as well. So I mean, they're right out of the frying pan into the fire, so to speak. So they're going to want to get this wrapped up pretty soon. And you can see that. I mean, they've been aggressive on their CT side as well. It's not a case of playing passive. And again, this just goes back to our Inferno that we were casting before. That PiTER very static, very stagnant in some aspects on their CT side, whereas MK constantly pushing, constantly adapting, and keeping the Ts guessing the whole time. I feel if PiTER incorporated more of that playstyle into their CT side, they'd be a much better, a more formidable opponent to play against.
Perhaps. And for anyone tuning in just now, we do have another series coming up after this. It'll be Agent versus Epsilon Esports in the lower bracket round of 2. So, you know, a team could be going home, or rather a team will be going home. Let's see how they got there. I think we saw Agent the other day, right? They changed their name, and I'm having very trouble tracking it. They lost to LDLC White, and it was Epsilon who lost to Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And we can probably see why, as they are doing quite a number on PiTER here.
Yeah, Epsilon got wrecked as well. I think it was like 16-3, 16-7 or something. They were really one-sided maps. So I'd be curious to see how Epsilon fare against Agents, but we are back into the action. TS issues have been resolved, it appears, from MK. And they do start this 20th round with a bang with the first frag. It has been answered back from PiTER though, but look at this from Victor. Oh! He's going to get a double coming down and a triple. The bomb's been planted. It simply doesn't matter.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Indeed. And that's the 14th round. Just the icing on the cake for MK.
That double kill was insane. He hit the guy in the back first and then just completed the spray onto the player that was pretty much right next to him. And with that silenced gun, like, you can't turn and flick shot that because you don't quite know where it's coming from. That is why most people will use that M4A1S. So dropping another round there, that makes 5 in a row. You got the full bonus still coming in, and they have the bomb down. So at least that triple kill didn't come in before the bomb went down. That would have been very rough. That probably would have meant, you know, maybe Galils instead of AKs, at least one less grenade here. Mortal Kombat, of course, only 2 away from closing it out.
This would be, I think it's too tall of an ask now from PiTER to bring back 8 rounds on T side. Especially the way that MK, in all fairness, we were talking about their potential shaky CT side. It's been anything but that, and again, Victor's gone for the identical play. They were waiting for him, but they still get picked off. The bomb's been planted, but again, it's almost a carbon copy of what happened last round. Waterfall doing a bit more damage than round 20, but we are going to go to 15-6.
Victor with back-to-back 3Ks flanking from ladder. That one, I'm more surprised. Like, I thought he was about to get spammed or naded in that smoke, because he got his first kill, but there were 2 people waiting for him. He kind of, like, isolated the 1v1 after seeing them both. Got down to 20 HP and somehow lived to kill another 2 people. I don't even know. PiTER, though, of course, on the T side, losing round after round after round. It will still be somewhat difficult for MK to close it out in terms of just equipment value, because PiTER is always able to buy. But I think, I mean, this will be enough match points to work with. You can probably get it done with 9 match points.
I mean, I can't see MK losing from this position, Joey. Straight up, this should be 2-1.
NKL gets that opener. And Waterfall, I don't know if they know he's the, well, they do now. You see the white on the wall, and that's a hard shot. Actually does still get him through the corner of the train somehow. Surprised going through the train that wasn't, the damage wasn't mitigated and maybe left them on just like 10 HP or something, but Either way, Spy Leader hitting a hard shot. That one maybe a bit easier, bringing down Dursky. So he gets the double. Now it's just up to FaceCrack and JMQA. FaceCrack kind of the standout player now for PiTER. JMQA, we saw him a couple nice rounds on Cash. But so far, as a team, no one really able to mount anything here on the T side. It's actually Waterfalls with the most frags, up at 15. And a 4-on-2 situation pretty much should seal the deal for MK, winning and moving on to the winner bracket finals to face LDLC White.
That's all on FaceCrack, and he's gonna bravely battle against the current right now. But 18 HP with 15 seconds. This flashbang is going to land on his face. He still does get the plant down, but that's all she wrote. MortalKombat are going to take the 16th round and the series 2-1 and progress through. Deserved winners in the end. PiTER can hold their heads high though. That performance on Cash in particular was pretty slick, but they still get dropped to the lower bracket.
Yeah, so they're not out of it yet. PiTER should have still a good chance to get back to the lower bracket finals and maybe even still a shot at the grand finals. If they were to face MortalKombat again, it would either be in the finals or the lower bracket finals, assuming, you know, LDLC White would beat G-Play or MortalKombat. That'll definitely be a good match, but that's a match that should probably be a little ways down the road, because as we know, LDLC White, yesterday we saw them boot camping for ESWC, and now we know they have obviously traveled and will be playing tomorrow in ESWC. That's in Montreal. So it should put a bit of a standstill, I think, on the upper bracket progression. But we will still have lower bracket round of 2. One of those coming up next. That'll be Agent, having changed their name to the Lions Mix, versus Epsilon. And it will be PiTER to drop down and face ESC Gaming, who hopefully will have Rallin back, because when we last saw ESC, they were playing without their star, and it was a bit of a rough look.
To say the least. Yeah. So if they have him back, I think they got a pretty good chance there. But PiTER, I mean, again, I feel like a lot of this came down to just them not being on form today. A lot of their aim was off. A lot of the spray control wasn't quite there. On another day, if it is, I feel that this would have been a much closer best of 3, and they may even be able to take it on train. A lot of it just came down to pure aim duels. So at the end of the day, G-Play, MortalKombat deserved to win that game, and we are going to see Agents against Epsilon, I think you said before, coming up in just a few moments, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. It was set for 3 p.m. Eastern, so it's like 12 minutes. So maybe go grab a quick bite, grab a drink, and come back here to mlg.tv/playcevo, where we will have one more best of 3 for you from Europe, and later on tonight, usually around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the main playoffs for North America. So stick around. We'll be back in a bit with Agent versus Epsilon Esports.